Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very excited. I have a very special guest with us here, Interacted, and other people that have enjoyed the podcast. We grew up with Cartoon Network, and we grew up with a lot of the cartoons there, and the animators and the creators of so many of them. And today we have one of those, Courage the Cowardly Dog. He also did what was it, the Dirty Birdie? Was that one? It was one that you created as well. Um,
Right. I did make the Dirty Birdie. I made a lot of many short films.
So we're honored. We are honored to have John in our presence, and he's going to be talking to us a lot about his how he sees the world. You get me, and his success story. Inspiring others to blaze their own trail as well. You know, in the world, maybe to blaze their own trail as well in the world, in their own way. You can take it anywhere that you'd like. What are challenges? I guess growing up that inspired you. You get me to to just really pursue animation as a career and to have the confidence to really put out your ideas and to because I've gone through your YouTube a little bit as well, and I mean just your mind. You get me the way that you're able to see the world and add so much joy and value, and you're very good at what you do.
Is there a question? I would.
Yes.
What
Like,
is the question? Maybe let's start off simple and then we could proceed to heavier stuff if we get there.
okay. Um, what are things in life you get me that even till today have inspired you to keep on going? I know Vincent Van Gogh is an inspiration of yours. Charlie Chaplin, I believe that one as well, right?
Yeah, they are some aesthetically wonderful qualities in these artists and many other artists that I have stolen from or have deliberately received their goods as some certain generations and generations have. So this is nothing new. But the idea of being informed, what are the conditions of being informed by something not done by you? What do you think those would be? What does an individual need to possess, right, to be open to the information that's already out there that will help them with what they want to achieve? What do you think are these qualities? Let's just say, let's try to name three. Maybe they're not three. What do you think, Noel?
They have to have. It, I believe everybody inside has something that they want to share with the world. So to use that and to not be afraid of the criticism of the outside because you're going to get bad
Okay, so
and good.
you're saying confidence, self confidence,
Okay.
right? But self confidence is not going to make you open to receive information from other sources. I would think it would be a natural curiosity and a curiosity, right, to explore. Not so much with a goal in mind, because I think that would mean you're kind of putting up, you know, obstacles to experience. So, curiosity. What about an elastic mind, one that could expand, not just from one's own perceptions inherited from childhood and from culture, et cetera, but I think it's directly related to curiosity. What's another one?
Um, Curiosity and I like adventure a lot and the persistence and I like failure because I believe through failure you get better. You can hone your skills, your craft. You're
Well, you just make it sound like you're saying don't be afraid to make mistakes,
yes.
right? And in that, I would think goes along with self forgiveness, right? So, how do we become informed? I mean, I was not the problem with me. I mean, I can't be used as a model for anything. In fact, I would be the model what not to do. But for me, it was already built in. I'm like a turtle that was born on the beach and hatched, and I just knew to run to the ocean before the seagulls ate me. and swim in the ocean before the fishes get me so I can grow to be a turtle. I can't say that I had a game plan. I was motivated, and I guess that's it, motivation. So I would think, Noel, thank you for that. We have, for me, what was it? A natural curiosity, an ability to have, well, the elastic mind thing goes into perceptions and whether or not we are rigid in our perceptions. That could be, it could be a benefit. I don't, you ever have a project where you were given very little room to be creative, to create problem solving uh, results, and you were able to do that because of the limitation? Do you ever have that experience?
In selling, sometimes they'll give us scripts, and we have to have a uniformity for the companies. So I this is very different from animation, though.
Yeah, but
I much rather hear you share your stories essentially, because I'm here to learn as well. To be honest with you, I
uh
have like my pen ready, my notebook.
right, but you're recording it, so you could always listen back. What was the third? I didn't forget what it is. I just said it. Well, you're gonna have to play it back to get it.
The elastic mind,
No, after the elastic mind.
curiosity, exploration, self confidence.
No, no, no. I forgot what. I just forgot. We had come to it in a circuitous way, but we got to it. All right. So motivation. You have to be motivated, right? So there's got to be something you want, right? Ah, what kind of question? It's natural to grow up wanting something, isn't it? I mean, I don't know. This is a strange lecture because I don't know what to say.
It's similar to like if you were maybe talking to like college students a lot of the time, like if a college told to speak, and it's like a lot of
Chasing your dreams. Okay, chasing your dreams. I just think, okay, there it is. Motivation. What motivates you? I was motivated by the abstract ideal of fame, and I now regret that because I was ill informed. I feel like I was the product of a cultural propaganda that one should live for fame. And if you became famous, you became wealthy. And that's not true either. That's also what I learned. So I was motivated to be a famous animator. And I just went ahead and I made films, the silliest, stupid thing anyone could do. Just make a film. So I made films. And what do you do with films after you make them? You want to present them to an audience. And how do you get your art to the world is another topic that we could explore. But for me, it was rather easy because film festivals all over the world are looking for films. So you could say, um, where where would you bring your talents? You know, we're not talking to animators here. You're a business person, right? And your crowd is mostly made business.
combination of everything. Like I guess I could be like a vlogger online, but I am more like business savvy, essentially. But
Well, maybe
anybody
that's
that
a
wants
learn
to
from
chase their
you.
dreams, essentially. Like I like the dreamers. I like the misfits. I like the outcasts, and I consider myself one of those, the black sheep. Um,
Why do we have to play these roles? We didn't make the. I don't know what a black. What? We either do the thing we love or we don't. We don't have to be a misfit or a black sheep or anything that a structured society says we are. You do what you're compelled to do, what you love. If you don't have anything to love, I've learned that you could explore the things that brought you the most joy in childhood. If it was building blocks or painting or dyeing mice and selling them, I don't know. You could look there. The thing is, not to have an interest in life is alien to me because I've always been motivated by um, cartoon humor and the cartoon
I love cartoons.
animation history, which I consider my mythology. I see the world as a cartoon, and it's vastly understood, misunderstood, I should say. It sounds like an insult, but it really isn't. It's for me an honor. If I were to encounter somebody that reminded me of a cartoon, that would be an aesthetic praise. But society believes that animation or cartoons are for children and you're insulting them. Well, I can't help that. But my mythology is that at any time we could discover novelty in an absurd way, and that all things are alive with the potentiality of humor. And even the most grave situations can be seen and survived with just a little bit of sense of perspective and humor. Um, I was caught. I was caught planning my destiny on a ferry going to a beach, and I was just sitting. I was laying down, looking up at the sky. It was blue sky, middle of the day, noon. And as I was planning my destiny, the crescent moon appeared. I didn't notice it before, but it was there. And suddenly I felt myself being laughed at. That here I am, John Dillworth, determining his own destiny. And the moon just said to me, "Oh, yes, please, John, tell me more. What is your destiny?" The moon, I just started cracking up and stopped trying to determine my destiny. I just resumed living. I'm going to need your help, Noel.
Okay. So I have tons of questions, by the way, because I mean,
I hope so. Let's get to them.
okay. So what would you share are in a lot of the fame that you were able to obtain, what were things that you didn't like about that? Because they had made a movie. I know you had no involvement with it whatsoever. It was the Scooby Doo one that came out recently. I don't, I
Seen
don't,
it.
I don't, I had no. And then, what were some of your biggest challenges? You get me that like towards you get me like because you shared earlier on that you ended up receiving fame and then that's not what you wanted afterwards. You found out that that's not what you wanted. So can like what are some of the reasons why you get me, I guess, that you didn't want that? Like once afterwards you impacted like people throughout the entire world essentially.
Right, but that's not fame. The impact people around the world, as you say, is content. It's my it was I simply made cartoons the way I always make cartoons. I make them for myself, but there is a component of a well, in this case, because of the context, we're making a cartoon show. It's supposed to be on a channel for kids, right? So I would consider myself a 10-year old, secret 10-year old, and it comes natural. So I simply just made cartoons about themes that were very human in nature, that to me resonated the dramas of humanity. And the formula was really quite easy: horror comedy. I've spoken this many times. I'm a big fan of horror, but not gore, horror, and um, and laughter. I had a big family. There were five of us, and we were very close. And we all share this rather absurd improvisational humor about life. Not that we don't take it hard, we do, which is one of the strange contradictions of animation. To make funny pictures that make people laugh can be done while you're melancholic, let's say. Not as a rule, but I'm saying the makers of humor, right, are human. And, and the idea of pity is what I was pushing. And always this in my films. Many films I make are not very successful. They tend to be experimental. So regarding the commercial stuff is rather easier because of our mandate. Our mandate is we have to deliver product. And doing that takes planning and responsibility because I'm responsible for my network's budget, their money, their reputation. It's a big deal. And I remember not being overwhelmed by the idea of producing a series, but wanting to come up with a formula in which to produce it. And that formula was to accept 70% from others of what I would do, and that would be okay. And that's how we produced the show. If I expected 100% of what I would do from everyone, we would have big problems. We wouldn't deliver on time, would go over budget, would have problems, right? I don't know if I answered a question. I'm not even sure there was a question. Forgive me, Noel.
I'm excited to be able to learn from you. Essentially, what about your new
What am
film?
I saying?
I want to talk about your mind, the way that you see life as a cartoon, because of just like just how the world is and how other people try to put frames on everything, and then to deframe everything, to detach yourself from it and just kind of see it from like the outside, from your perspective. And I want to talk about your new film, by the way, that's coming out. The uh, how have you, if you love me, how, what was it specifically? Me,
Howl if you love me.
I'm very familiar with Courage. This is one of the new ones coming out.
The who?
See, how have you loved me, the new film, and then
Yes.
the mind, how you're able to just kind of not put yourself in any kind of like a box, and how you're able to just see life itself. You get me, the way that you see it, like with your creative
I don't know that
genius.
I'm not in a box. I don't know that. I mean, a lot of times I'm confused about life as anyone else I would encounter. Would that be a box? I don't know what a box is. I mean, you mean limitations, limiting yourself? Do we limit ourselves?
I think once, if, I don't want to say yes or no, because I believe you could always overcome that. It's like shattering like a glass ceiling.
Yes, you can. But do you realize what it takes to overcome anything? Do you realize the will and the intention and the resources that require to get over even the smallest obsession or fetish? There should be classes in this. That's the other thing. I mean, education. What exactly are we learning in the real world? For instance, there was a documentary about an educator, high school educator in New York City who quit after 35 years. He was just frustrated. And he made a documentary about the institution you went to and others like it. And there was a class he learned called politeness. That was a class. Did you have a class like that? Politeness?
But I
Right,
have to.
but
I've read a lot of books on like politeness. You get me, like Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends. You get me, and Influence People, or other things. You get me, like Think and Grow Rich, or just stuff that about the other person.
yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm
Yeah.
talking about just general politeness, a class in that, how to be polite. And the principle behind politeness is you can't get what you want in life if you don't make friends with everyone, including your enemies. And that's
Oh
a
wow.
craft. And ever you see these global business and political leaders getting together on one stage, and they all look like they are the best of friends. And they probably are in a superficial way because they all took a class in politeness. So going back to you, are we in a box? I don't know if I'm in a box or not. I hope I'm not in a box, but I'm very vigilant to be aware if there are limitations I'm putting on myself. Let's say certain beliefs, certain behaviors that are constructed, not my own, unconscious stuff, right? Isn't success really happiness? The joy in doing something that brings you pleasure? Is it about money? Is it about amassing wealth? And with that wealth, the growing apathy of what next? Isn't it just good to be successful where you feel there is more for you to give than to receive? Yeah, success is an interesting invention. You don't want to be without resources. And if there are loved ones that are relying on you, you would need to thrive. I think thriving is a better word than success. And I really think it's about the happiness, the quality of your life. If you are a big baron and you just got to chomp, 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 you got to take over, you got to be number one dog. I mean, okay, that's your happiness. But it sounds a little sociopathic to me. Um, yeah, I'm just content to be able to do the little things that bring me joy, and to stay healthy in my spirit, in my body, and in my duty to others, whatever that may be. And each one will know themselves. So that would be success. That's a definition for me. Animation, that's really hard.
You're a
I've made
genius,
some
John.
films that have been so disappointing to me, my expectations irrational, and I wasn't prepared for the reality of the outcome, and I would despair. And that's how much I'm invested in it. And then I think about maybe I'm holding on too tight. Hmm. Right? So the thing you love to do, you have to keep an eye on that so that it doesn't love you too much and you lose sense of who you are and where you are in context. So with Howl, If You Love Me, I really am just taking a kind of rather a relaxed way of producing it. Also, fundraising has been very difficult, as it always is with filmmaking. And I think that I'm enjoying the production a little bit more because I'm not inventing an outcome that does not exist.
What is the film about a little bit? If because I saw a little bit on YouTube where like I saw like a girl and a guy and they were holding like a puppy. Um, uh,
It's simply a love story told again through the genres of horror and comedy. So it's a it's a horror rom com. Ha 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 ha! That's what it is, and it's just having fun with it. It's ultimately the story of a man who makes an irreversible decision in life for love, but he makes that decision willingly.
what are other things I guess that in life yourself that when you were able to get an animation, did you ever get frustrated originally, like when you were younger, maybe on a cartoon because you were hard on yourself, but you always knew that you. When did you realize that you were a genius? Actually, I guess creatively with your films, you
Well,
may
I
not even consider
object.
yourself one. You get me,
Yeah, I
like,
object. That's absurd.
but
That's
being one
absurd.
or
I
other people seeing you
am,
like that.
yeah, that you could
A
say
lot of
then
other
that's a
people.
societal defect to want to seek geniuses, right? When each one of us is a light. And if you want to believe in geniuses, then I want to believe we are all geniuses. Some may have done more things than others. Some have been fortunate to receive the boons of their efforts. But I'd like to see then if one is a genius, we're all geniuses, okay? That's equality. That's equality. That's real equality, where we're all alike and we all share in the boon of living, of life, without constraints. If you look back at child behavior, and my God, has there been a lot of development and study into child behavior? It's proven collaboration yields happiness, yields joy, not constraint. When you have no choice, when you're told what to do, guess what happens?
You
That
rebel.
inner child, that tiny little innocent child, loses itself because now it's just an obedient thing agreeing with what it's being told by mommy or daddy. And that's not a society. That's not a civil. What kind of civilization is that? Of complacency, of obedience? I don't know. I don't know. I think in the art world or in any profession, I would think it would be the dynamic asking of questions, question everything. We talked about curiosity. We talked about the elastic mind. We talked about motivation. And the thing is that what would benefit all? I didn't make cartoons to talk to 10-year-olds. I talked to as many people, human beings, as possible that all feel, that have the capacity to feel.
How was it like when you used to work at Cartoon Network, like when you were younger?
I never worked for Cartoon Network. They were a client of mine. I always had Stretch Films.
Wow. How was that like? You get me? Like going through that process
I
and
encourage
having
everybody to have their
courage.
own business. I encourage everyone to just start a business and you're the CEO. Why not? So what, you pay a little bit of taxes, but you work for yourself and you determine your fate a little bit more precise. Such an advocate of being your own employer. You yourself are your own employer. And there's also many benefits of having your own company. You could talk to your bookkeeper or your more important, talk to your accountant about the benefits that are never really expressed, but you went to Harvard Business School, so you know.
I went there for negotiations. I only went there for like sales. Like it was a class. You get me? It was like a semester of like 4 to 5 months.
Yeah, I get it.
It's not like I
Motivational
went there for like the full
speakers,
4 years, and then I have
persuasion.
like the degree for just
All right,
like the negotiations
right.
certification just for that,
Well, I don't
for
know anything
sales,
about that. I'm not a businessman. I'm a
just
terrible
for sales.
businessman. If I make money, I spend it. That's the problem.
How was it like creating courage? You get me? Like, because I know when you were younger, you liked comedy and horror a lot, and you still like that. I know.
What was it like creating courage? I was a blast, man. I just had it was a wonderful experience. Even the stuff that doesn't go well, I look back on it and it was just gorgeousness. But every day is gorgeousness for me. Every day. I just told you an anecdote where I'm communicating to the moon. I'm not mad. I'm nuts.
I think you bring life to the world.
How
Like
could I bring any life? I don't bring any life. You know who brings life? Women. And there was a time when God was a woman, longest time. I mean, this male thing, you know, I feel like I agree with a lot of thinkers that men are simply living out a millennium long inferiority to the goddess. We can't produce life. You talked about bringing life. Women do that. Women bring life. They nurture life too. I'm not saying that they're not capable of destruction. All you have to do is study the mythologies of the world. Possibly the best representative would be Diana or Kali, that's Hindu god. So we've been around a long time, Noel. We've done everything. We've invented everything. Anything you need to know, you could always find in the past by our ancestors. But of course, we've entered a new world. Now we got 3 minutes left. And technology has never existed at the level that it exists right now. And the incredible responsibility for those that control that technology directly impacts our lives and the way we see life. So I don't think I'm giving life. I think I'm just trying to hold on to it.
Okay. I have like we have 2 minutes left because I know you're
That's right.
swamped your schedule. Okay. So you guys can find John online right here. By the way, his Twitter is at Dillworth. Awesome, awesome.
Is that true? I don't even know.
It's what Twitter said. Twitter could be wrong.
Okay.
I just got it from
I
your Twitter
hope it's not
page.
right. Yeah, well, go on. Yeah,
And then YouTube for Stretch Films. All
that's
right, you
right.
guys. He has a new film coming out. So if you love John, right, and you love his work, seek him online, and you can subscribe to a lot of his stuff. And he has new content and creations coming out for us now. So we're very grateful that John's creating that for us in the world, essentially, with his gifts and his talents, and we enjoy that a lot.
Is that a
Um,
bulletin board?
yes, if you could share, you get me, like in the last like 60 seconds, you get me, like, something like that is from your, in addition to like a good way to see the world, you get me, in somebody just moving to the sea, you get me, like the turtle, like what would that be, you get me, in them just going all out, like just for their dreams, man, so they can be like you get me, in like their own way, and just and adding to the world like the way you do it, really.
Well, I don't know anything about that request, Noel, but this is what I say whenever I conclude an interview, a meeting, or a broadcast. I simply invite everyone to stay animated.
All right, guys, well, we're very grateful to have had John today. Make sure you follow him online, and like John shares, you guys, like ourselves, we stay animated, always, forever. Thank you,
Stay
John.
animated.